The ancient kingdom of Wagadu, West Africa's first significant state, began forming from a small kingdom into an empire around 600 CE. The Soninka people were among the first of the Mande-speaking ethnic groups to cultivate iron and use it to their military advantage, making vassals of other Africans in the region, especially the Mandinka. But like all empires, Wagadu began to fall in 1100 CE, and many of the vassals began to break away. Among them were the people of Soso under their ruler Sumunguru Kante. Mandinka griots speak very clearly about how powerful and ruthless Sumunguru was. He wrested power away from Wagadu, conquering their capital at Kumbi Sela in 1224. This victory made him the most powerful and the most feared ruler among the former vassal states. In the lands of Mima, a young Mandinka prince named Sanjata Keita begins to gain the favor of the local ruler. Though exiled from his homeland, the Mandinka were desperate and begged Sanjata to help them fight the growing dominance of Sumunguru. Sanjata was all too eager to join, as this was his opportunity to prove his worth and possibly become the ruler he was prophesied to be. The ruler of Mima aided Sanjata by supplying him with an army, the core of which were composed of cavalry. Sanjata began moving toward the southern town of Tabon. Along the way, he generated more support and brought a number of Mandinka clans under his leadership. As Sanjata continued his march, he was expected to be joined by more forces of the local ruler in Tabon. With a unified Mandinka front, this news certainly got the ear of Sumunguru. Sumunguru quickly gathered footmen from Soso who blocked the valley that led to Tabon. As they began setting up camp, oral historians tell us that Sanjata laughed at them and proclaimed that no mere infantryman was going to stop his advance. Sanjata went on the offensive and personally led a cavalry charge which surprised the Soso infantry, who assumed the battle would take place the next day. Sanjata quickly broke the infantry line, and griots tell us in poetic fashion how fiercely the young prince fought. Sanjata was in the middle of the Sosos, like a lion in the sheepfold. Sanjata and his men continued on the warpath. With his new force reinforced by the men of Tabon, Sumunguru came out to meet the young prince on the battlefield. Sumunguru arrived at Negaboria in present-day Guinea. It was there that he found Sanjata. Sumunguru was humiliated by the great slaughter Sanjata unleashed upon the mighty Soso near Tabon. No army was able to halt the supreme military might of Soso. He began deploying his men along a narrow valley, with the flanks occupying both slopes. Sanjata, organizing his men into a square formation with cavalry at the front and archers in the rear, led a ferocious charge against the center Soso line, which initially held, but after some hand-to-hand fighting, appeared to buckle. Upon Sumunguru's orders, the Soso flanking units swept down into the valley with great speed, attempting to encircle Sanjata. However, Sanjata had predicted this, and his prepared army quickly changed formation, with the archers reinforcing the flanks, intercepting the Soso rush with a violent volley of arrows. Sanjata's arrows inflicted serious casualties to the Soso, and they began to retreat. Sanjata's reserve cavalry forces counterattacked and pursued the fleeing Soso on the flanks, while the archers turned their attention on the center of the Soso line, breaking the will of the Soso. Sumunguru retreats with his army, but Sanjata, curiously, does not pursue the Soso. Sanjata takes his time and finds the Soso army encamped near Bamako. It was here that the famous Battle of Kirina took place. The previous night, the Soso launched a surprise attack on Sanjata's camp, but Sanjata's archers were able to repel the attack with a volley of flaming arrows. By dawn, Sanjata's cavalry began charging and broke the horsemen at the center of the large Soso force. The engagement was going well for the young prince, as his charging cavalry was saving the day. However, Sumunguru would not be undone. He deployed his large reserve, which began to push back Sanjata's forces. One by one they fell. The Mandinka were on the verge of annihilation. But great luck struck down on the young prince. In a last-ditch effort, Sanjata rallied his men to stand their ground against the Soso. It was at this critical moment that Sanjata saw an opportunity. Sanjata pointed his arrow directly at Sumunguru. He was confident at his target because the Soso ruler wore an obnoxiously large and tall headdress. The arrow pierced Sumunguru. Battered and wounded, the Soso ruler fled, and in panic, his army with him. The Mandinka had now become the conquerors. A small kingdom under vassalage for centuries now reigned supreme as Sanjata unified the Mandinka and formed a new empire called the Mandan Kurufaba, or the Mali Empire. If you like this video and want to help the home team produce more like it, consider supporting the home team on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. Know thyself. Remember your ancestors. Peace.